When it comes to Islam, now we as Muslims, we believe that there's one God and that Jesus didn't die on the cross. He's not God's son. He's not divine. He's a human messenger and he worshipped God, right? Ultimately worshipped God. So how do you reconcile the idea that even you as a Christian, you do believe that Jesus worshipped God essentially, right? He did acts of worship.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile that with the idea that he is divine?
Okay, so I think it would depend in some ways how we're defining worship here. I think on one level, if you link in like praying, for example, I think we can. So on one level, there's the answer that okay, Jesus in his incarnate form, 33 years, he decided to submit himself, and in that sense, he occupied a state which therefore he would venerate the Father from that kind of lower position.
So you believe Jesus is lesser than the Father?
No, I don't say he is in principle lesser than the Father, but he submitted himself for a finite period of time in order, whatever, as in for the fulfillment of prophecies and to save people, all that kind of stuff. There's also just the general point that praying to God, I think, doesn't necessarily insinuate kind of your respective ontological status. So I don't think Jesus praying to God, therefore you say, oh, God's the higher one, Jesus is the lower one, right? Because I think if you understand prayer, especially in terms of communication and relationship and that type of thing, then that's not necessarily, it doesn't implicate ontological like stuff either way, it's nothing, right? So
well, I would say it does, because you're essentially submitting, like you said.
Yeah.
You're saying there's an authority greater than me, essentially. Like where we both agree is, in terms of the purpose of life, is to worship God. We both agree with that.
Yeah.
The conception God is different, but you see, Islam is very much adamant on the status of Jesus, because it believes that by deifying him, you actually nullify all of your good deeds, right? So the Islamic paradigm is that if you hear about the message of Islam and you reject it, anything good that you do, and you know, in the Quran, God describes the Christians as the closest to the Muslims, right? Even though theologically we're closest to the Jewish people, in terms of Islam and Christianity, God says that we're the closest, right? And that one theological problem that Muslims see, which is the divinity of Jesus, that nullifies all good deeds to the point that the person is no longer eligible for paradise. Which is why, you know, the whole Trinity versus Tawheed debates are so important for Muslims.
I understand, yeah. Wait, so as far as that, so you're saying from an Islamic perspective, or just when you say that acknowledging or accepting Jesus' divinity nullifies all of the deeds? Are you saying that as a shirk, or
Yeah.
like okay, yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
And look, obviously, I don't want to give you a whole entire sermon about this. You're smart enough to know that you're going to be studying this at Oxford and all the rest, but